Don't even tell me we're getting the Belfont snorkel horse, are we? Are we? Yes?
The early stages are yes.
This is unbelievable, Ron. We have the man on after he announces his retirement, and he fires back with a snorkel shot.
I think you told him yesterday, at this point of your career, you can do whatever the hell you want to with no repercussions, right?
That is
what
absolutely true.
What are they going to do? Fire him?
Unbelievable that this guy gives us the Belfont snorkel. I can't believe this, Ron. He's here now? Well, he's late. Jim Colony.
Maybe he was at the rink.
On the Nemacolin fan hotline. What's going on here, Jim?
No, I was on the phone doing another one of those interviews that I've been doing lately, and I kept trying to answer the phone, but I kept cutting it off. So I had to finally pull. I had to pull over to be safe. I had to get to a spot where I could pull over and safely redial here.
Well, your retirement announcement story made it all the way to number 3 on Post-Gazette's most read stories of the day. Were you sad that it didn't make it to number 1?
I don't know how to determine that. I just did see it there. So I made it to number 3. I think that's pretty good. I mean, what was I beaten out by? Like Mason Rudolph or
yeah.
Matt Canada?
Maybe.
I think number 3's pretty good. I didn't think I'd even make the top 5 or 10 or whatever.
Well, there's some confusion about what you're going to do. You're retiring, but you're not retiring. Is that correct? So, what's the big deal about your retirement announcement if you're not retiring?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And Ron, you tell me, because we're on the same page when it comes to that. I'm trying to say it's not that big of a deal because it's just because I'm still going to be around. In fact, had I chose to be around, I could have been filling the role of Ron Cook next week if I wanted, because that's the kind of fill-in stuff that I'm going to have a chance to do, and so I'm looking forward to that. But that's why I can't. And Ron, you and I are the same age.
No, you're a lot older than I am. But go ahead. So.
By 1 year, yes.
Okay, that's a lot older. I'd rather.
How does he know your age, Ron? Nobody else does.
I'd rather be a lot older by 1 year than not. Go ahead.
Yeah, especially as we get toward the back end of it, I guess.
You know what they say? It's like as you get older, life is like a roll of toilet paper. The closer you get to the end, the faster it goes. Think about that for a minute.
Yeah. Okay.
I think I left them speechless.
And in real life, there are no replacement roles when you reach into the cabinet, I guess.
So are you retiring or not? Is this all for naught? Should we have had you on today? You're getting more of a send-off than Jury Rand when he left Pittsburgh.
More of a send-off than Ben?
Yes, exactly.
Well, I've been here longer than Ben. I was definitely here a lot longer than Jory. Ron, I honestly don't think it's that big of a deal because I am going to continue to do some part-time hosting. But in terms of being on the fan morning show, tomorrow is the last day. And yet, like a week from tomorrow, apparently, like they haven't had enough time to sell stuff or whatever, that they're going to do a gala send-off on the 28th. So it is like I'm never going away because I'm not. We're not going anywhere. So I don't think I just don't think it's that big of a deal. But, if we get publicity out of it, any kind of publicity is good publicity. Bino Cook might have actually said that. So, may as well go along for the ride.
All right. Well, we'll go along for the ride today and pretend that you're retiring and look back on your career. I mentioned at the top that Joel Embiid had 50 points in 27 minutes last night, which is darn near Wilt territory. Did you ever cover a game featuring Wilt Chamberlain?
No. No.
He's not that old.
He's close.
He's not that old. When did Chamberlain retire?
73?
Jim was just a kid in 73.
Although I'll tell you what, Joe,
maybe even later than 73. Go ahead.
The Boston Celtics did play an exhibition game at my high school in Keene, New Hampshire in 1969. I do remember that, but no, I never covered Wilt. I mean, the first team I would have actually covered professionally would have been when I was actually inside the locker room would have been the Red Sox. The Red Sox when I got to Boston in 1985, and so that would have been like obviously the Larry Bird, the McHale, Bird, Parrish, DJ Celtics.
Ron, it's your turn.
It's my turn. Now,
ask Jim anything. I have one. Can I
go
ask
ahead,
another
you ask,
one?
I was not prepared. I was reading about Jim's retirement, actually, of the story here. That's what I was doing.
With retirement in quotes?
Now I can move up to number 2 on the Post Gazette list, thanks to Ron looking at it.
The most impressive number in your phone over the years, besides Mr. Big Chests, was what or is what, Jim?
Well, actually, believe it or not, it's probably given wide-ranging popularity. It's Danny Smyers, Dan Smyers from Dan and Shay, a highly decorated country duo.
I never heard of him.
Right?
Are you kidding me?
No. I mean, he's like a big deal. If you have to go on social media, see how many followers he has. But in terms of sports, I don't know. I mean, Cower, Pouncey. I'm trying to think of a number of Pirate players.
Big Chest might be the winner there then.
Well, I think he is. Except my guess is that if I reached out with that number, that it's not his number anymore.
Probably not.
That's because he didn't pay his bill.
That goes back a lot. That one goes back quite a ways. But yeah, those. There were a few Steelers and Pirates and Penguins and so like Brooks Orpik. I mean, that's a good number to have in the phone. I haven't talked to him lately. I never collected phone numbers that much. Maybe I should have had more than I did. I don't have Ron. I do have Ron's number. I don't have Ben's number. And there are probably quite a few people who do. But that's okay. I got along fine without having famous phone numbers.
Well, now we know you love golf. Are you actually going to play with Starkey? I mean, people keep saying
we've already played.
Sure, Joe, I'll play with you, but then they always find a way to put it off.
Not only have we played, he was there for the first par of my career, right, Jim?
Yes, and that was now we went out with our big boss to Butler.
Yeah, that's right, because I had to do the show alone while you guys were out playing golf. I remember that day.
Yes, I know. I got out of work that morning too, which was pretty good. But anyway, Joe and Ron, I'm pretty sure that I've told you this, and I've talked about this on the morning show, because the booby prize in our football picking contest is that we have to treat Joe to a round of golf this summer or this spring or summer. That's like the last place prize, which I wouldn't mind. Joe, we had a great time playing golf.
We did.
We really did, and I would look forward to playing golf with Joe anytime, Ron. I'd say I know that you're a highly decorated junior golfer, and I think you should take up the game again, because you and Joe would have a wonderful time on the course.
I'll drive the beer cart. I would rather, if I was thinking taking it back, I wouldn't play with either one of you guys. I'd want to go with Zeiss.
Oh, no,
well, that's an experience, and I don't blame you for that.
I just remember at the one fan outing when he was out there shagging balls off the tee, and he got hit in the head. He had a baseball glove catching golf balls, and he got hit in the head by one.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever recovered from
because
that.
Because he was ripped. We had the big fan fat heads of all our faces out there, and people tried to hit him with drives. He was staggering between the fat heads out there, and somebody cracked him right on the head, Ron.
It was scary, actually. Could have hit him, as our mothers used to tell us, you could have put your eye out.
It's not a party till then. Horse, how about the single most memorable sporting event that you covered in your whole career? You can go back to Boston. You can go anywhere. What was it?
Well, I thought covering the NBA Finals in Los Angeles in 1987 it didn't end well for the Celtics. But I've told this. So the Celtics lose in 6 games. I'm kind of up all night. I end up going to because my friend Willie May was friends with Adrian Branch, a rookie with the Lakers, who had his family.
Love him from Maryland.
Yes, and he had family, and they didn't have enough room in their car, and I had a car, and so Willie and I brought some of his family to the Lakers victory party on Above the Rocks, the Roxy, and then Above the Rocks was the name of this place. And so I actually was a fly on the wall at the Lakers victory party in 1987. So that wasn't exactly a sporting event per se, but I mean, you talk about somebody who didn't belong. It was me, but I'm sitting there with McEnroe and Tatum O'Neal and Jack Nicholson and all these Lakers, and it was great just to sit there and watch.
Did you try to strike up a conversation with any of them, like Nicholson or any of them?
I think I did with Nicholson a little bit, because he used to show up he actually sat. The guy that owned the radio station I worked in Boston, Kiss Went Away, Rich Balls, but Jack Nicholson actually wanted to come to the games in Boston, but didn't want to be down on the floor so that Celtic fans could abuse him. And so I believe that he sat in the station's luxury box, high above courtside at Boston Garden. So he was, and I can't remember if I really talked to anybody else. I mean, I got to be familiar with some of the players like Michael Cooper and some of those guys. But I just stayed out of the way. I didn't want to, I just wanted to watch. But I mean, there are a lot of things. Joe, when I first came to Pittsburgh, I know you predated me by a little bit, but the first year I came to Pittsburgh is when the Penguins won their second Stanley Cup, and so I was in Chicago with at old Chicago Stadium. What a place that was!
Do you remember a young Jim Colony, Ron?
I do not.
Really? In the press box in Chicago? Were you there?
Not the first year that he was in town, no.
I wonder what he looked like then.
I don't remember. Probably a few pounds later, I would guess.
He's shrunk, I bet, since then.
I don't know if he's shrunk.
There's a picture that somebody put up on my cubicle of the glasses I had at the time. That's about circa 1992.
I'd love to see that. Of course.
Here's another, Joe, another fun fact is since I've been here, the Steelers have played in 4 Super Bowls. I personally attended 2 of them. They lost the 2 that I attended, and the 2 that I was back home doing work back here in Detroit and Tampa with the Super Bowls that they won. So as long as I wasn't there, they were in good shape.
Well, you, like the rest of us who have been here a long time, have been so lucky with these teams that we've covered, maybe the Pirates aside, obviously the Pirates aside, but could you imagine doing this in Detroit or Cleveland or somewhere like that? I mean, how much more fun have we had than they've had?
Ron, you're right about that. And even the Pirates, when I first came here, again, another thing that didn't end all that well, but when I first got here in the summer of 1991, they ended up playing in the playoffs 2 years in a row. They were memorable playoff series that didn't, as we all know, didn't turn out very well. And then some of the other things like Joe, the back-to-back games that we covered in 2004 when Ben first came on the scene, and they played the undefeated teams, right, back-to-back, the Eagles and the Patriots. And those 2 games, man, I remember that. That was a lot of fun. And then the run, and again, I didn't get to go to Detroit, but that playoff run from Cincinnati through Indianapolis through Denver, that was some of the best football that Ben played. And the plays that he made in Cincinnati, and then Indianapolis early on, well, the tackle plus, and then the passing game that he had in Denver, especially in that first half.
Oh, he had one of the highest passer ratings in a 3-game stretch in NFL history. We have to run here, Horse, but I wanted to let Ron know. We often talk about how Mike White got my sports media career started, and Ron
never forgive Mike for that.
Ron blames him. However, in all honesty, I think you may have had a hand, and maybe a big hand, in getting me to this radio station. You recommended me all those years ago. Did you know that, Ron?
It certainly wasn't me who recommended you. I know that.
So thank you, Horse. You've been a tremendous pro, and I think an influence on my career, as far as I know.
Joe, I appreciate that. Ron, I appreciate that. And I'll see you guys again tomorrow morning, I guess. I'm still not retired.
And probably next week when Ron's off, we'll see you again, I bet. Right? You won't be retired then either.
That was offered to me, and I said, I think it's a little too soon. But next Friday, maybe, Joe. Maybe a little bonus JImbo next Friday.
All right, Jim. Congratulations on your non-retirement. We'll be hearing you every day on the airwaves.
Thank you very much.
Because, Ron.
He's retiring, but he's not retiring.
What's going on here with this guy? He's going to wind up being full-time again.
He's going to get weaned away slowly, I guess.
I don't know what's going on.
Trying to read through this story here about his retirement. He's praised for his work.
He was a very good worker, wasn't he? I thought
he showed up a lot of places.
He did. He shows up and gets the job done in entertaining fashion.
I have one of your favorite Jim moments.
And a nice man. What do you got? Well, wait. Hold on that, Horse. Ron, I had to room. I can't believe I didn't ask him about this.
Oh, we got that tape.
With Colony at the Super Bowl, right?
I wouldn't have gone. I would not have gone.
Well, I was happy. We got to know a little more about each other's lives.
Until nighttime.
But then he went out one night, and this is the first time I've seen this in my life. He came back from a night out in bars with a to-go thing with chicken wings in him and fired them up in the microwave in the hotel. I'm like, what the hell is this guy doing? That wasn't the worst of it.
I don't think that's so unusual.
What?
I don't think that's so unusual.
Who even thinks after a night of drinking,
He's hungry. What do you want him to do?
I'll take 8 wings back to the hotel at 1 a.m. and fire them up in the microwave?
I don't think that is unusual at all.
All right, well, forget about that.
The worst part was ahead.
Yes.
And I don't think it had anything to do with his night out on the town. I would venture what you heard that night happens every single night.
Probably. And what happened was
sleep.
this dude snored like he had a deviated septum. He snored like it was a chainsaw, and I couldn't sleep. I wound up paying over $300 for my own room one night because I couldn't take it.
I would not have gone.
I couldn't take it.
I would have begged out of that going. I would
So
have rather not gone than live with that.
I wanted to prove it. So I took my recorder over to where he was sleeping and put it right up against. It was like a secret mission. And I recorded him snoring. People think this is fake. This is actually Jim Colony snoring at the Super Bowl. This was all night, Ron. It was unbelievable.
I couldn't have done it.
I
couldn't have done it. I'd have been in the bathroom in the tub with the door shut.
I did.
I'd have been down in the lobby all night working ahead and then sleeping during the day when he's out.
Was so mad.
I couldn't have done that.
I spent on my own money because I knew I couldn't charge it to the company. They were making us room together. I spent my own money on a $300 hotel room on the last night because I hadn't slept all week. You couldn't nap anywhere. We had to take a bus to wherever we were covering the teams, and then you were there all day. And I had to listen to that every night.
I don't know how you did it.
Did I ever tell you about Deion Sanders tied my shoes?
You did tell me that story.
That was unbelievable, Ron. May I tell that story next?
Sure.
And let's get back to the Steelers.
It's Coach or Prime.
What?
You call him Coach or Prime.
Yes.
Not Deion.
That's right. I actually like him because of this particular moment. But let's get back to the Steelers.
Yeah, we got to get to the defense.
Things up.
We got to get to the defense.
Get to the defense.
Yep.